Well, hello, welcome to Talking About Speedway. Graeme, Sinden and Con Migro with you. And Con Migro, rather than being all speedwayed out, I'm missing it already.
I'm the same as you, Graeme. It's good to be with you. What a wonderful time we've had. Just unbelievable Speedway once again. And the telecast on Saturday night that Dean Neal and the 7 Network did was just absolutely second to none. Brilliant.
Con, I did ask you before, during the WA versus USA, or USA versus WA, whichever way you want to put that, and the High Limit International Series, I did ask you on another program we did, what was your favourite moment? And I think at the time you said Kyle Larson winning the final $110,000 of the High Limit race. But on reflection now, I believe, Con, the Boxing Day feature race and the Boxing Day night was my favourite of all. I mean, that had 28 cars start, 28 finish. It was all over in 8 minutes. It was just a wonderful race to watch. And Boxing Night to me is always a special night at the Perth Motorplex.
Well, I won't disagree with you, Graeme, but let me say this, that I've seen the local West Australian drivers go up a notch, and they are also more driving to survive than ever before. Like the other night, 24 cars started and 22 finished. So you're dead right. I think the general standard of West Australian sprint car racing has been the winner.
Yes. Well, look, Con, the whole series, I don't know, I think we've had 9 nights racing or something like that, and including one down at Bunbury. The whole thing, in my view, has been the best Speedweek series in recent history for sure.
Well, probably might be one of the best ever, but you're dead right. And we've seen some wonderful racing. We've seen hard, tough racing, and surprisingly done fairly safely. There's been not a lot of crashes in the big events.
No, indeed. Con, let's just have a look here now. We started last weekend off. It was a double header, the 9th and the 10th of January. It was the Speedweek final, the USA versus WA Speedweek final, and what a weekend it was. I mean, there were a few crashes certainly, but at that level and that intensity, you may expect that, but it was such a good weekend of racing.
Yes, it was, and all the tracks generally held up to the standards required for them, and I believe we've done ourselves no damage in our reputation as being probably one of the best speedway centres in the world.
Yeah, without doubt. On the screen right now is Dayne Kingshott, the winner of the Friday night feature race, and that was just a special race again, as most of them have been.
Well, I spoke to him before the meeting started, and I'll tell you, this might be a big statement, but I'm putting him in the similar category to the Gary Rushes of the world. He's a racer, a very clever racer. He doesn't do dumb things, and even on last Saturday night, when you saw that he had no hope because he time-trialled poorly, which put him on position 14 to start in the A-Main. He didn't do dumb things. He picked them up as he went along, but he could have got desperate and tried to. So he's a driver really driving with his noggin.
Indeed. Well, there's the Friday night penultimate round Speedweek feature. As we said, Dayne Kingshott won it from Callum Williamson and Kerry Madsen, who probably put in, I suspect, one of his better performances for the whole Speedweek series.
Yes, well, the stars are all aligned and he got going, but that's how tough it is. And Callum had a disastrous night the next night, so he just shows you can go from chocolates to Bordelese very quickly.
Well, it was running well, but then unfortunately cut a tyre down. I think I said to you at the time, Con, that he occupied the bottom for a significant part of the race, and when he did, he had the left front wheel hooked over the curb, and of course the back wheel then is vulnerable to being cut out on the curb, and that's exactly what happened in my view. And very unfortunate.
Yeah, and that curb's very high too, Graeme. It's made so the guys stay on the black stuff, which is the clay. And yes, I think what you've seen is no argument with me.
Yeah. So there we are, a terrific podium nonetheless. It was great to see Kerry have at least a reasonable run, although the car's been fast at times, but they just haven't been able to put it all together during the course of the race, have they?
No, but you've seen what's happened, Graeme. Last year, no one in Australia, with the exception of Kyle Larson, beat James McFadden, and this year he's been struggling. Now, why is that? And it just it comes down to one answer, and I think it's the correct answer. Everyone else has lifted their game, and you've seen what's happening here now. You've got the Caden Manders of the world. You've got the Callum Williams of the world. You saw Taylor Milling last Saturday night. I mean, there's your answer, that these guys can no longer come over and say, oh, we're the easy beats.
Yes, indeed. Well, that particular feature, Con, was a bit unusual in the fact that I don't know where it was in the feature race, but let's say around half distance or maybe three-quarter distance. I think it was about 5 laps to go, in actual fact, now that I think about it, that Callum came to a stop on the start-finish line and spoke to the stewards. And in fact, let me just put this up. This is Callum's writing now. In the feature, we were running in second, chasing for the lead when our car was affected yet again by the traction control detection device. Callum pulled up on the main straight to advise the officials that the TCDD was affecting his car, and after much discussion, it was then removed by officials, with Callum returning to the field in the P2 in second place, with the car returning to normal once removed. Callum drove hard to finish second in the feature. So we were all a bit baffled and confused because some of the rules appeared to be broken there. I mean, I'm delighted that Callum finished second, don't get me wrong, and I've still got a few my own personal views on traction control. Nonetheless, that they're only my own views, but it was an interesting night from that point of view, Con.
Yes, and there once again, it was the chief steward, not any official on the infield or no one from the Sprint Car Control Council. It was the chief steward that ruled that he could go back into his position and start there.
Yes,
so consequently, the rule states quite clearly 1 start per car per race, and if you don't need a second start, you go to the back of the bus. Now, he had a second start, but the steward felt that there was some problem with the traction control or whatever it might have been, so he gave him the benefit of the doubt. Now, you must remember, this was done all within a couple of minutes.
Oh, absolutely. What is. No one can change anything now, but it was rather peculiar in a lot of ways. But I'm delighted that Callum was reinstated and finished second. He probably thoroughly deserved it, I would think.
Yes, but it's also be worth noting the fact that there's a lot of people going around saying that the machine is only being used in West Australia. I think I might have mentioned it a couple of times, but that's not true. Apparently in Sydney they've used it 22 times and they're using it right around Australia. And the rule is put down by the Sprint Car Control Council, which has been voted on by all states that voted at the beginning of last season that they would bring into the sport traction control because they had heard from good advice in America that there were people that were doing a little bit of cheating.
Oh, look, I think there's nothing wrong with bringing the device in, providing it can be proved that the device is fault-free and it's not affecting cars, engines or performance. So, I mean, it's very subjective, isn't it? And we can both have differing views, as can every spectator that's watching. But watch this space, I think.
Well, that's right. And Alan Bain, who's the chief steward or the machine examiner for Australia, said that device that was on Callum Williamson's car was tested after, and there's nothing wrong with it now. So you're right. It is very controversial, but as you say, watch this space.
Now, moving on to Saturday night, Con, again, a wonderful night of racing again. Not just sprint cars, as it turns out. Every division, right through the Speedweek Series, really has performed admirably. And again, it happened on Saturday night of the last night of the Speedweek Series. This is Cole Macedo, who won the feature on the Saturday night. What a great drive it was from him. He just barnstormed that thing to pick up a beautiful win.
Now, there was something that happened during the feature race. There was a stoppage, and Cole Macedo went past the start ute, and a lot of people arced up about that. How did that be allowed? Because the rule clearly states, once again, you can't pass the start ute, and you've got to go to the back of the bus. But he had noticed debris on the racetrack. He couldn't get the officials because they can't talk, so he pointed to the officials where it was on the racetrack, and that was the reason why a delayed start, and that was the reason why he was allowed to restart where he was and went on to provide us with an unbelievable spectacle.
It was a wonderful win.
And the young man that finished third, Taylor Milling, he really was a hero to me because he led the race for half the race.
Just getting back to him passing the start car, I mentioned to you when we were sitting up on the Highline deck, Macedo's got his arms waving all around in the cockpit, which is unusual because they've got arm restraints on their sleeves to stop their arms flying out the car. And I don't know what he did, but I could see him moving his arms around in the car and made comment. And now that you say that, it all makes sense.
Yes, and once again, the chief steward, in the interest of safety, has ruled that he can go back and take his position in the rerun the correct way. So there's no rule being broken, and it's done in the interest of safety, A, for A, competitors, and B, spectators.
Absolutely. Now, here's that podium on Saturday night. Cole Macedo there occupying first place. J Mackey's best run of the whole series, I would think, albeit he's won quite a few heat races and dashes, but he hasn't been able to crack it on the big ones. And Taylor Milling, as you say, a brilliant race from him. He's back to his very best if he can do that in that company.
Of course. Graeme, it was wonderful. And during that A-Main, in fact, I had to watch the feature race again yesterday just to get my mind refreshed, and I was absolutely blown away by the skill of these guys and the slide jobs they've been doing and the track. Another thing that's worth pointed, it was the windiest day in Western Australia for many, many years. In some parts of Western Australia, the wind was blowing at 70 miles an hour, not kilometres an hour, and you can appreciate how difficult it was to prepare a racetrack, particularly for sprint cars that are going around there at 190 clicks an hour. Yeah. So I'm not making excuses, I'm just making it as a point, because yours and my eyes were quite affected by it.
Yes.
But that was the bottom line. It was a very windy day, and these guys, when they get past the gold section at the Perth Motorweek, they reckon when the wind hits their cars, it's like the freight train hitting the side of them.
Well, I was in the motorhome. I camped down there Friday and Saturday night again, Con, and I was in the motorhome doing a bit of preparation for our shows, and the van was being buffeted around. I had to give it away in the end. I thought, I can't handle this anymore.
You missed Dot.
So here we are, the end of the Speedweek series, and our new champion, Dayne Kingshott, and thoroughly deserved. What a drive that he put in every night, although the final night was probably his worst night.
Well, he was more than a sprint car driver. He's a sprint car racer big time, and he is a smart operator. I really wish him all the best, and all the West Australians that are going over for the national title. But I suppose when you want to have a favourite amongst the guys that are going, he would have to get the nod just purely from his performances here in West Australia and what he did at Timmer Speedway in early December. So this young man is going to be red hot in the national titles at Borderline. It's a lot smaller track, so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes.
Well, Dayne picked up $10,000 for his trouble by winning the Sprintcar Series, so well done to him and the Krikke Motorsport team. And also, Con, moving along, talking about winning and points, let me just cut to this. And points leader, Dayne Kingshott in the Maddington Toyota Sprintcar Series.
Yes, and I'd like to also congratulate Gavin and the Perth Motorplex team, Maddington Toyota and Speedway Australia that contributed to the series overall from the prize money point of view. It's brought out the best of our drivers, and that is the reason why our numbers are stronger. And you and I both know there's a couple of new cars soon to hit the racetrack. So, look, the sport has never been in a better, stronger position, and the racetrack is probably, in my opinion, I'm very biased because I've been involved from the get-go, is the best in the world.
Absolutely. Now let's have a look at those Maddington Toyota Sprint Car Series. Dayne Kingshott has leapt away a little bit from Callum, 68 points now adrift, and Caden Manders pretty much stationary in third, but Taylor Milling, he's moved back up into fourth place, so a wonderful drive from him.
Caden's gone to third and Callum's gone up to second again, so that switched a little bit, but now 370 points separate first from 10th, and 68 separates Callum Williamson from Dayne Kingshott. Now, there's an interesting... Callum didn't finish on Saturday because he got a puncture, and that's the reason why. And Caden's only 92 behind then, and Taylor Milling now has got his mojo back. And Daniel Harding moved from 6th up to 5th, so he's starting to come back.
Well, it's interesting to note, Con, you could physically see Taylor Milling walking around in the pits during the after the feature races during the Speedweek series, and his body language wasn't all that flash, but Saturday night, after a wonderful third place behind those two great drivers, body language changed altogether. He was cock-a-hoop, and rightly so. I mean, he performed beautifully.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. That's the one thing that we're really getting a lot of interest in the sport, and this photo here is a brilliant photo of two of the great drivers of West Australia, and Dayne and Callum. Here they are, probably swapping notes and saying, where are you going to run the racetrack on Saturday night, Callum? And Callum saying, you mind your own business.
Well, look, I love it, and the reason I put it up, Con, is because this is a Josh Cochrane photography photo. I mean, they're fierce rivals on the track. Good mates, fierce rivals on the track. There's a lot of money involved, and yet they can still have time to say hello. That's what I love about Speedway. We're not all up ourselves. These drivers are professional athletes, and despite their rivalry, they're great mates off the track. So.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll take a quick break. Plenty more Speedway still to come. Don't go away.
At Maddington Toyota, we're all about great deals, value, quality and service. Head to our website for quality new, demo and pre-owned vehicles with videos so you can find your perfect car. We can organise the details by phone and email and deliver the car right to you. Check out the entire Toyota range, plus a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, all backed by our real commitment to great service. Maddington Toyota, great deals and great service. Oh, what a feeling.
Well, welcome back. You're watching Talking About Speedway. Con Migro and Graeme Sinden with you. Con Migro, let's move on now to the Boy and Upseller Sprint Car Driver of the Year competition. It's certainly hotting up. Let's go and have a look at the points. Yeah. Well, there we are. After 13 rains, 73, 52 and 43. Still not a lot in it, considering there's 18 points per night allocated to these drivers. So a brilliant competition, Sprint Car Driver of the Year. When we thank Assured Learning Australia for $1,000 cash for the end of year prize, Boy and Upsellers, a case of champagne, and King Chrome $1,000 worth of tools or products. So a great competition, Con.
Correct.
Now moving on a little, let's just talk about this young man, Kyle Blight, I should say, Australian late model champion. He was an absolute champion on Saturday night.
Was and is. He is a fantastic driver. You're right. He hails from Albany. He was living in Bunbury for many years when he was sponsored by Paul Stubber. That relationship is now closed, and now he's moved back to his hometown. And he can't race all the time because of finances is concerned. But by gee, when he does turn up, he makes everyone look like they're, I wouldn't say second rate, but he makes everyone look pretty, I think, ordinary. But the guy that I'm wrapped in is the young guy on the left-hand side of that photo there in young Oldfield. I think we've uncovered another champion.
Well, look, I think you and I have said on some occasions that he is or going to be better than his dad, Jason Oldfield. I've got an idea that he's bordering on that already. He's such a talent.
You're a hard man. Or a brave man.
But just getting back to Kyle Blight, I mean, you took Joe Chalmers third on the podium there, a former Australian champion as well, and he made Joe look pretty ordinary in that feature race, didn't he? I mean, even Bo went past him, I know that, and Joe was very strong earlier in the night, so Kyle Blight is just so good.
But Warren and Jamie Oldfield didn't perform that well, but they probably should get over their holiday when they went away. But the good thing I like about what I've heard about Bo Oldfield, I don't know him that well, I've met him once or twice, but I can say to you that I've heard that he's not only is he a good race car driver, but he's a really beaut kid, and his mum and dad would have to be very proud of him because, you can easily get a big head in this game because it's a sort of sport that you get idolised by thousands, and sometimes the success can go to your head, but they reckon he's a really nice... Jason's a lovely young guy too. He's a young man, and he understands his kid's got the ability.
Well, look at this picture on screen now, proud mum and dad. I was surprised. I mean, Jason himself is not short. I mean, he's probably my size, I suppose, but Bo is much taller than I imagined he was.
Yeah, and the boy doesn't half look like mum.
Yeah. Look, just some fabulous stuff all around, Con, and let's go now to speed cars. And there we are, the speed car podium. Now, it's interesting to note, Con, that first and second, Nicholas Rowe and Tom Payette were driving borrowed cars, if you like to put it that way.
Well, I've been flapping my gums a long time over Nicholas Rowe, and mainly because of his breeding. Both these men, Payette and Rowe, hadn't been racing on a regular basis due to other reasons. In borrowed cars, went out, and Saturday night, young Nicholas Rowe stamped himself without any fear of doubt that he is one of the top drivers in this nation. Now, if they can gather enough bucks together to go away to the Australian title, don't be surprised if he gives it a shake. Young William, on the right-hand side there, finishing in third, is the young guy who went to America this year.
Jake Robinson.
Young Jake, and he's getting better every drive. And it was good to see Tom Payette back. Going back to 2019 when he first raced for Graham Jones before he went to the Rod Bennett team. So Buddha, and I loved about this with Buddha, he was honest. He didn't make any excuses. He went back into the pits and he said, Nick, you beat me fair and square. Yeah. I tried everything I could. I could blame a lot of things. You could blame a lot of things, but you beat me fair and square. And good on you.
Oh, absolutely.
That's nice. Isn't it?
Absolutely. Yes, and Tom's always been a fair competitor in that way.
Yeah.
Doesn't make excuses. If I could just make an excuse for all of them, the track was fairly dusty and not a lot of grip for speed cars, and they would pitch into the corner, and pretty soon, coming out of turns 2 and 4, they'd be right up on the boards. Not a lot to hook onto and keep them driving through the turns. So they all did a wonderful job, and Jake Robinson there, as you say, he finished up the Esslinger Triple Crown champion on points. So a great drive from him all series long. Three rounds.
I'm thinking one of the reasons that you've got your mojo back, Graeme, and probably I'm the same as you, but Friday and Saturday night were two great shows, but on Saturday night when you had the speed cars and the late models on the racetrack, there was a different buzz to the night. Now, I'm not saying that what happened the Friday night didn't, because you'll shoot me, but it was just a real different buzz, and it doesn't take long for you to get really back interested again.
No. And just take a look at this. Bo Doyle, big crash, had nowhere to go, not his fault, and some serious damage done to that race car, I'd say, by looking at the chassis rails underneath the car there. I think there's a bit of whoopsie-doozy, and the fuel tank, as you can say, has come adrift, only held on by the fuel lines, and the track officials and marshals and fire crew were quickly onto that, and they dumped the fuel tank into a bunding arrangement on the back of their truck so that should it leak and a danger of fire, they had it under control, quick, smart.
Well, Graeme, I'm not saying you're wrong there, but they are secured more than just the fuel line, but this is the problem that's happening with the sport in America as well. They are having a tendency to get away from the race car. Now, these were designed to stay on the race car. They're a cell, so they can't puncture, so you're short of fires. But if they come away off the race car, they become a missile. So this is something that speed cars and sprint cars all around the world now have got to start to look at. How are they going to make them more secure on the race car?
Well, they've already put some rules in place in America that they've got to be secured by 6 bolts now rather than 4. So, notices being taken. And I'm sure Australian rules will follow suit. Matthew Iwanow, like Kyle Blight, he was just sensational and pulled off a double, and I would say it would be the first double ever in those two disciplines at the Perth Motorplex. So he won the wingless sprints and the mechanical street stock features double on the Friday night, and then Saturday night he won again. And if you look to the right-hand side of the picture of the two cars, that's the margin they crossed the line in.
And I've never heard Carl Langdon be so animated. He was off the tree. He was unbelievable. Even after the event, he come to me, gave me a high five. He said, "Can you believe what we've just seen?" Now, the number 10 car, which was Matthew Iwanow, he went across the line on the fence, on the safety, and there were sparks coming off, and the crowd that was left there saw something very, very special.
Oh, it was brilliant. So there we are on the Friday night wingless sprints. Matthew Iwanow, Brandon Sharp and Tom Britton, and the mechanical street stocks, Matthew Iwanow again, Kane Deller and Hayden Norman. So wonderful performance by all of the street stocks certainly, but certainly by Matthew Iwanow.
Correct.
So, Con, there's plenty more Speedway to come. We're going to run out of time here, I can see, but let's just go quickly to this one then. Chris Coyle doing some high flying. Look at that. He got some serious air, and I don't think that was the height that he jumped. He had a few more feet or metres to go from there, but spectacular crash. And the remarkable thing about it, Con, was they rebuilt that car and got him out in the feature, and he passed. Just let me say this. He passed 13 cars to finish 7th in the feature after that big crash.
Good on him.
And Nicholas Rowe, their first feature win of the season, how good was that? And again, in the borrowed Lee Redmond car, so great stuff for Lee and for
it looks like he secured himself a ride for the rest of the year, I'm sure.
Dear, oh dear. So, Con, Speedway galore, we can't speak highly enough. And this particular one was caught by Peter Roebuck. Look at 4 cars there. They look like sardine cans to me. They're all crunched and busted. And all 3 of those cars all got restarted again. And unfortunately for Mikey Green, a brilliant driver, we've been speaking his praises all year long. And he had a big crash on the Friday night in qualifying, couldn't get the car back out there, and brought it back on the Saturday night, which this crash was, and unfortunately came to grief again and couldn't get it mobile. So A great pity.
Yes, he crashed in the time trial on Friday night and then come back Saturday night and wrecked it. But I'm not laughing. I mean, I just feel sorry for him.
Now, quickly going on to two wheels over in Victoria, Jack Holder, Chris Holder's brother, 25-26 Australian solo champion, great performance from him. Our own Mitch McDermott went across. I think he finished in about 10th place, so it was a good performance. And Jamin Lidsey there in second, and Rowan Tungate third. So congratulations to all of those guys.
Yeah, I'd just quickly like to say to Speedway fans, on YouTube at the moment there is some fabulous vision of the Polish tracks, and the holders are very much prominent there. But have a look at it if you can get a bit of chance to have a look at it.
Okay. And moving on, and not quickly because I don't want to rush this particular shot, but Jasmine and Jo Latham, after her unfortunate accident, joined us again, the second time during the Speedweek series at the Perth Motorplex up in the Highline deck, and happy to report her progress is quite positive at the moment, so we're looking forward to her.
You know, Graeme,
improvement.
At one stage, she went back to the pits with Joe, and Joe was saying to me that from the time he walked from where we were to the pits, he said it took me nearly an hour because everyone was stopping to ask me how I was going and how was Jasmine, and they are overwhelmed and overjoyed by the love and attention they'll be getting from the Speedway fans.
Well, I put a little post up just with her picture, and I think 22,000 views already on that one, so very, very popular. And again, I love Speedway because of that very nature that, you know, we all get together when things are against us.
Correct.
I had this one up earlier on Friday night. We had a Western Power outage at the Perth Motorplex, and during the outage we had the most magnificent sunset, and so there's one looking at the sun and one looking away from the sun, and it was just a beautiful moment while we were waiting for all the lights to come on. Although that one there, the lights had started to come on and went off again.
Hey, Graeme, I ask you a question. What makes Western Power do testing on a Friday Speedway night? So if you can answer that, that's a $50 million question, but can't believe it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, here we go.
Don't get me going on that one, Con. This is just a bit of fun, a flashback, but look at Jamie Maiolo there. I don't know, he must be 18 or 20 there. I don't know, Con, but he's very, very young. Very young. And Ryan Fowle on the right. What a great competitor he was in his day, and he's still out there driving, and I think he still should be in 410s, quite frankly. But
well, I'm with you, but he, as I explained the last show, his reasons why he's not.
Again, quickly, Con, let's move on quickly there. Sports Radio 91.3 Sport FM. Wednesday, 1 o'clock is our Let's Talk Speedway show on that radio station. And then, I've got that wrong. Let's move on to this one now. On the Spirit of Speedway is on SEN Radio, 6:21 AM. The Spirit of the Southwest, Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock. So
we look very happy there, Graeme.
We were happy.
Well, we're always happy.
We were happy. And then, Con, before we close the show, the Barbagallo Sprint Car Nationals, Mr. Sprint Car Nationals, 6th and 7th again, another dual Friday, Saturday night. That'll be followed by a Wednesday, I think we call it a Speedway Mayhem or something.
Midweek Mayhem.
And then the Krikke Boys Shootout, another double header the following weekend. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nights of racing in the course of a week. So another busy schedule for sprint car drivers in particular.
Beautiful.
So, Con, that does wrap up our show. We haven't got much more to report on from that. You've been watching Talking About Speedway, of course, and we enjoy bringing the show to you, Con.
We certainly do, Graeme. Good to be with you once again, and we look forward to when we do that, watch those things buzz around a Speedway track once again.
Well, thanks for your company. We hope you enjoyed the show. We've covered a lot of ground. A brilliant Speedway racing, as we said, for the entire Speedweek series, starting on Boxing Day, Con, and moving through to last weekend. Brilliant series, as you say, probably the best ever Speedweek series we've had.
Correct.
Thanks for your company. We'll do it all again next week. Bye for now.